Throughout the expansive history of the Star Wars galaxy, we have been introduced to countless species, each with their own unique characteristics and abilities. However, very few can compare to the sheer terror and monstrous nature of the Sarlacc pit. This beast is not only one of the most fearsome creatures, but is also one of the most dangerous species in the entire galaxy. The Sarlacc's reputation as a formidable predator is well deserved. Anyone, whether that be a person or an animal, unfortunate enough to be consumed by this creature, would suffer a fate far worse than death. The question remains is, why is being eaten by a Sarlacc pit a fate far worse than death? The Sarlacc pit was first introduced to us in Return of the Jedi and quickly became one of the most terrifying creatures within the Star Wars galaxy, notorious for its role as a gruesome method of execution favored by Jabba the Hutt. In its early years, a young Sarlacc is not a stationary beast buried in the sands as depicted in the films, but rather it is instead a mobile predator roaming the vast and dangerous dune seas of Tatooine. During this time, the Sarlacc is driven by an insatiable hunger, devouring any and all life forms that it encounters. The Sarlacc doesn't just feed for sustenance, it absorbs the energy and essence of its prey, which significantly enhances its power and growth. This relentless feeding and energy absorption are crucial for the Sarlacc's development into its adult form, which often could take hundreds if not thousands of years for it to be fully ready. Once the Sarlacc reaches full maturity, it undergoes a dramatic transformation. It buries itself deep into the sands of Tatooine, leaving only a gaping maw exposed. This mouth, lined with sharp, hooked teeth, serves as a primary trap for any creature unlucky enough to come too close. But the process of settling down for a Sarlacc is far from immediate. The Sarlacc may take hundreds if not thousands of years looking for the perfect location to fully anchor itself to the ground. Its root-like tendrils spread across the entire surface, further securing its position and ensuring that it remains undisturbed for millennia to come. Underneath the surface, the Sarlacc's body is a nightmarish labyrinth of digestive systems. It proposes multiple stomachs, each designed to trap and slowly digest its prey over an incredibly long periods of time. The main stomach is the largest and obviously dominating much of the Sarlacc's mass. Many reports for those who have studied the Sarlacc suggest that the fully grown Sarlacc can bury itself up to 300 feet underground, with some reports even going deeper, making it enormous and nearly impossible to move. Its ability to sustain itself for centuries without new food is a testament to its efficiency, as it slowly eats away at the unfortunate beings trapped inside of its stomachs. When a person is consumed by a Sarlacc pit, their ordeal is only just beginning. They are dragged down into one of its several stomachs, where their fate is determined by the Sarlacc's grotesque digestive processes. And fun fact, the Sarlacc possesses an uncanny ability to separate its prey based on their level of consciousness and sentience. If the main stomach is full, the Sarlacc would relocate the new prey to one of its side stomachs. In these side stomachs, they would be cramped in coffin-like chambers with barely enough room to move. And it's not like they could move in the first place, as would be held together by the Sarlacc's numerous tentacles. These tentacles exert a constant pressure, ensuring that escape is impossible. Victims in this location could remain in these side stomachs for years, completely aware of their surroundings, as they wait for a more permanent fate. However, their true horror begins when the prey finally is moved to the Sarlacc's main stomach. Once there, the creature is embedded within the stomach walls, where they are held immobile. The Sarlacc then secretes powerful digestive fluids that begin to break down the victim's body, but it does this at an excruciating slow manner. These fluids are highly corrosive, capable of eating through skin and muscle tissues over prolonged periods of time. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the Sarlacc also ingests the prey with toxins that prevent them from losing consciousness or succumbing to their injuries. This means that their victims remain fully aware of their torment that they are enduring, feeling every agonizing second of their slow disintegration. Over time, the Sarlacc's digestive fluids dissolve the victim's skin and outer muscles, eventually fusing their bodies to the stomach walls. At this stage, the creature is reduced to a husk of its former self, quite literally, as it's little more than a mass of partially digested tissue. But the Sarlacc's toxins ensure that even in this state, the victim remains conscious. And this digestive process is so slow and torturous that it can take up to 1,000 years for a victim to be fully digested and to die. And while it is grim and dark, it does offer a glimmer of hope into the unimaginable suffering endured of those who are trapped within. And in some extraordinary cases, particularly in the Sarlacc's early ages, a victim's consciousness would actually merge with the Sarlacc itself. This merging would effectively grant the victim a form of immortality in a way, as their minds would become one with the Sarlacc, and they would remain alive and aware for as long as the Sarlacc lived, and an average lifespan of a Sarlacc could be up into the upper 50,000 years. One of the most harrowing examples of this is the story of a Jedi Master from the time of the Old Republic who was devoured by the Sarlacc pit, and this Jedi's consciousness became so intertwined with the creature that they began to lose their sense of themselves, and they soon believed that they themselves were the Sarlacc. and they lived for so long that they even lived long enough to see the rise and fall of the Empire. Given the Sarlacc's ability to inflict such imaginable torment, it is no wonder that this became the preferred method of execution for crime lords like Jabba the Hutt. These ruthless individuals delighted in the idea of their enemies suffering for millennia within the belly of the beast. However, despite the seemingly inescapable nature of the Sarlacc, escape was not entirely impossible. The most famous example of this was with Boba Fett, who managed to defy all the odds and clawed his way out of the Sarlacc's belly after he was left for dead. Fett's escape, followed by his eventual full recovery, serves as a rare testament to the possibility of survival even in the galaxy's most dire circumstances. The Sarlacc pit is truly a monstrosity of the Force, and yet is still so cool to learn about. But anyway, that is why being eaten by a Sarlacc pit is a fate far worse than death. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to watch another one of my videos, make sure to click on screen now. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, as it would help the channel out a ton. And while you're down there, make sure to comment what video you would like to see next. And with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.